Today I'm going to be making with you this delicious ofe egusi. Yeah, I still call it Egwusi, just like we used to call it when we were growing up. You can call it Egusi if you like. This Egwusi soup is quite kid friendly because I made it with beef. Beef is a rich source of protein and iron for growing kids. So that's why I'm using it. So if this is something you like to see, keep on watching. But before we start, remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Mommy's Yum if you haven't. Thank you for sticking by. So the first thing I'm going to do is to boil my meat until it is soft. So I'm putting it into the pot now. I'm going to add some chopped onions and garlic. I'm actually using some red onions and some white onions. That's why you are seeing some onions there. I'm adding my seasoning cube. I'm going to stir it together. And then I'm going to cover my pot and allow the meat to release its water first before I add the quantity of water that I need. So you can see the meat is cooking and the water has been released. I'm going to now add my stockfish. I'm using stockfish, so I'm going to add it so that it starts softening with the beef. And also my dry fish. I'm using dry fish too. I'm adding all this now because I know my meat is not going to take that long to cook. If you are in a place where your meat is quite tough, then you might want to cook the meat and the stockfish first before adding the dry fish. But I like all of them to at least be a bit dissolved because I'm giving this to the children, and sometimes when they see a lot of these things in their food, they wouldn't like to eat it. So with the stockfish and the dry fish, adding it now will also help to infuse the flavors into the stock. Now I have my egusi here. This is ground egusi. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it. If you see in my meat, I didn't add salt because I believe the seasoning cube is enough. So there's no need adding too many salt. That's why I'm adding salt to the egusi. I'm adding some ground crayfish too. I'm going to add my palm oil too, and then add a little bit of warm water and then mix it up. Try and mix it up to combine together, but still in a lumpy form. So you are not adding a lot of water when you are doing this, just a little bit of water to help you to turn and mix it very well. I'm now going to add my egusi into my meat, which is cooking. So I'm using just my spoon to scoop it in. This is not the one that will keep to its shape when it finishes cooking. It's going to dissolve into the soup. So this is not the aburabo type, if you know what I mean. I'm going to add my water now. Just put some water, enough water just to make sure I have enough for my soup. What do we even call it? I think we call it tekwamiri or something. I've forgotten. My mom used to say something like, if you know what we call it, I can't remember. Please help me with that. And then my kids don't eat pepper as always, but I always put it there for flavor, and I add it and then allow my soup to cook. As you can see, it's cooking, and you can see the egusi is dissolved in now. You can add more water if you want, depending on the consistency you want. And also, if you are using a thickener, you can add a lot of more water than I have here. I'm not using any thickener for this soup. But if I'm using a thickener, I would have added more water. You can thicken egusi with is it achi or also, or you can also use you cannot even use corn flour, and you can use yam to thicken egusi. Some people also use potatoes to thicken egusi. So there are many ways to thicken the egusi, and yeah, that's what we have here. I'm just adding water to give it the consistency I want, and making sure that I don't burst my pepper. Otherwise I'm going to eat this soup alone. So egusi is almost getting ready. I'm just checking for taste. I'm adding some of my crayfish again. You can see the oil is floating on top. That shows you that the egusi is cooked really. The floating oil actually shows me that I've cooked my egusi to perfection. Add your seasoning, check for taste, add crayfish. I love my crayfish. It's still a good protein for children as well. And then allow your soup to cook or to simmer, if I can say that. I'm now going to remove my pepper because I don't want it to burst inside. Then I'm going to add my shrimps. Shrimps doesn't take long to cook, so that's why I'm adding it as one of the last things into my pot. Stir well. Allow it to cook for some few seconds, not even up to a minute, because shrimps cook fast. And finally, add your green vegetables, and I'm using spinach here. It's frozen spinach which I thawed, and I'm not going to allow it to cook. I'm just going to stir and bring it down from the fire so that it will retain all its nutrients and still be green. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are still watching, please don't forget to give me a like and also share with your friends. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.